Chat, welcome to my YouTube channel. Alright, so first off, chat. We have Elon Musk Neuralink brain implant finally used on a human patient. We been knew Elon Musk was gonna do this. Just didn't know when, but it's happened now. So yeah, this is just kind of what we on, bro. Got my boy Bob in the background. Know what I'm saying? But in my opinion, bro, this is a great technological advancement. We should be excited. We shouldn't be scared. We shouldn't be in fear. You know what I'm saying? If you're watching this and you're terrified, don't be terrified, bro. First off, this is not even gonna touch you. This is gonna be your grandchildren's problem. I don't care how old you are. Even now, yes, it's gonna be your grandchildren's problem, or your great grandchildren's problem, depending on if you're a little older. You know what I'm saying? But let's get right into it.
Into Live now from Fox, I'm Andy Mack, and certainly some big news in terms of science and technology. Of course, it kind of feels like out of a...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this dude's teeth are like perfect. Like, these gotta be veneers. They gotta be, right? Chat, am I tripping? They gotta be veneers, bro. Got to be.
Fiction movie. As we're learning more information, Elon Musk tweeting this out, saying the first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday and is recovering well. The initial results show promising neuron spike detection, and it's a big monumental step here in terms of this technology. For more on this and to give it context around it, because there's a lot into this, we want to bring in right now Liam Drew, a former neurobiologist, an author, a reporter, journalist covering medicine, biology. Liam, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. Just give
the way they're talking about how it works, I think like the way that it works is like basically, right, boom. So you got the Neuralink joint in your mind, right? And then you firing off certain electrons and stuff in your mind. And that'll be the if statement that the computer needs to activate a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? If this neuron goes off, then that. You know what I'm saying? If you know anything about coding, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Me, I barely know anything about coding, but I've taken a few coding classes, gaming courses, things like that. So, yeah. I think, like, from my understanding, this is how it works.
me a grasp. How big of a deal is this to have that Neuralink, that brain chip there to kind of help connect a computer to a brain? How big of a deal is this?
It's a huge deal.
Well, I think all of us that have been following this field have been waiting for Neuralink to finally put their device into human volunteers. This is a very exciting field in general at the moment. There's multiple companies working in the space, but since Neuralink were founded in 2016...
Sorry, he said the Neuralink was founded in 2016 or whatever, but I just cannot get over the fact that my boy is... be in the documentaries looking so dumb, like with this weak at like this blurry at, like, come on, bro, come on, man, that's so easy.
Very well funded, very exciting group of scientists recruited there. The field has really been waiting to see what they'll do and how their technology performs in humans.
Yeah, and it's like you said, just the name on top of it, Elon Musk and Neuralink, does that maybe give it more credence? Does that maybe make people more exciting about maybe the rapid ascension of this technology?
Well, Elon obviously brings a lot of attention to whatever he does.
Thanks.
I think he's certainly, he's brought massive investment to the field, and I think it is very exciting how quickly they've moved. They both developed an implant and a robot that does the neurosurgery, which in itself is quite an exciting development. I think all of us...
You telling me that you got a robot doing brain surgery? Hey, man, are y'all getting in that chair? Because I'm not. I'm not.
No,
I'll let y'all know that.
To be quite polarizing, so I think for some people it's fantastic to have him at the head of things. Other people it creates uncertainties, but it certainly brings attention, and And yeah, like I said, I think the whole field is waiting to see what this trial will bring.
Yeah, and it's the first one there as well. But of course, several months ago, the Food and Drug Administration gave approval for a trial saying they wanted to enlist people ages 22 and above who are living with different disabilities like this. Can you maybe tell me maybe the specifics on where this application goes from here? And obviously talking about those people that potentially could get a brain chip to help with function and different things. Maybe what's the kind of grouping there for this trial and how may it benefit people?
I seen a post, to answer this dude's question. I seen a post where it was like, basically, imagine, so we all know Stephen Hawking, you know what I'm saying? All Jeffrey Epstein shit to the side, but we all know Stephen Hawking. And you know how he had the little keyboard joint, right? If he had a Neuralink, he could speak with the Neuralink with his mind without typing. I don't know how he typed on it before, like, cause like, I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? Like, basically what I'm saying is he would be able to type at like faster than the world's fastest typer. You know what I'm saying? Like with his mind. And that's what the power of this Neuralink, you know, provides, whatever the case is.
Yeah. So the recruitment advert for this trial asks for people that have no use of their hands, either owing to a spinal cord injury or ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, as you say over there. And so sort of research of this nature has been going on for about 20 years now. The first ever person to have an implant of this type, it happened in 2006. And this was a young college athlete who'd been stabbed in the neck and paralyzed. And so for sort of 18 years, there's about 40 people now have had these types of implants put into them, made by other companies. And it's really about sort of restoring functionality to these people. And so they can sort of control a robotic arm, for instance. So the implant is sort of recording brain activity, and through sort of AI decoding of the neural signals it picks up, you can sort of teach it that if the person sort of repeatedly imagines moving their hand left, then the sort of robotic arm will move left. And then latterly, there was an amazing paper last year, out of UCSF, an academic study, a woman who'd had a stroke and lost the ability to speak. And she actually was able to communicate by thinking about syllables, thinking about words, and training the decoder to recognize the sort of neural patterns that corresponded to the words she was thinking of. And then they wired this up to an avatar, an on-screen avatar, which spoke for her. So, you know, really, Elon has sort of got a lot of attention. He gave a famous interview with Joe Rogan in 2020, where he sort of, you know, looked sort of way down the line and imagined, you know, everyone having one of these implants. But really, it's a field, and as this trial speaks to, it's a field that's grown up around the idea of there's these people living with severe paralysis who could massively benefit from the restored capability of, you know, just even being able to use their iPhone or to surf the web through these devices, but just restore independence and functionality to these people. So that's really the main context of the wider field.
Yeah.
Wow. So basically, right? This is basically the plot of Black Ops 3. Alright. I know. Shamar, why are you comparing it to a video game? Shamar, grow up. I'm adolescent. Alright. My thing is, this is just like Black Ops 3, right? I'm not worried about no war or nothing. Or, you know, whatever. But eventually people are literally going to be half human, half robot. Quite literally. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of lit. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool, bro.
So
don't be scared, y'all. Do not be scared, chat.
That have those potential disabilities or those complications due to different things that happened in their life. And of course, Neuralink there from Elon Musk. But like you mentioned, there are other companies that are also kind of doing the same thing as well. Does this maybe kind of bring everyone along, and how much kind of scientific kind of breakthroughs can we see based on the fact that maybe one company sees it and then the other companies try to replicate it? How much can this kind of continue to raise the field as a whole?
Well, I think what's interesting is that there's probably about 6 or 7 main companies that are developing these implanted brain-computer interfaces. So actually implanted. So, you know, only a person that's sort of living with severe paralysis is sort of it's only ethically viable to sort of for those sorts of people to participate in a trial of an implanted device. And I think what's interesting is that the sort of 6 or 7 companies have all sort of put their money on slightly different approaches. So, do you need to record from thousands of individual neurons as Neuralink are going after, or is a few hundred okay? Or can we just record the average of different neurons with a sort of slightly more superficial device? So I think, and then there may be trade-offs.
Y'all see this right here? Reading brain activity. Is this our brain?
Between the sort of potential
That's cool.
power
Interesting.
versus the stability of the recording, the stability of the decoding. And for a person that's sort of trying to use this every day of their life, stability may be much more valuable than sort of potentially very high performance. So what we're going to see with several of these companies now in human trials is the sort of see those trade-offs and see which ones are most important in real world settings. And so I think it's just a compare and contrast, and I think that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and seeing science kind of happen in real time where people make different hypotheses and they go down different paths to see potentially which works best based on what their kind of thought process is as well. But like you mentioned, all these applications, maybe differently, what can maybe the applications be in the future? What can this kind of technology evolve into? Where do we see it going potentially?
Well, that's the big question. I mean, so like I said earlier, when Musk was talking to Joe Rogan, he was certainly envisaging a world where, symbiosis with AI and sort of bi-directional communication with the brain. I mean, it's very easy to go science fiction with these predictions. That's not to say it won't happen in decades' time. I think at the moment, like I say, we're just looking for something that's stable and safe. Like that stability and long-term performance and how the brain reacts to implants is all things that we still need to learn. And there's a whole nother world of people that are trying to sort of do sort of surface recordings of brain activity, which would be much more amiable to mass market devices, much more cruder decoding, but that might be able to pick up whether you're tired or whether you're focused. So we're sort of really opening up a new sort of route of communication between our brains, our most private of organs, and sort of external devices. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, it's easier to read activity than to sort of put information into the brain, but that's the sort of bidirectional communication is another thing on the table. So yeah,
the future definitely uncertain, but right now an exciting time in the field. Liam, Drew, any parting words? Any more thoughts? I know it's a very complicated, complex kind of topic here. Anything that we missed that you might want to touch on before I let you go?
Well, I think I would just say I think the medical ethics and ethicists need to keep up with this. There's going to be interesting questions about privacy if these devices are in there reading our neural activity, and also who's in charge of this. If there's a device between your private thoughts and your sort of actions in the world, if something goes amiss, if something goes wrong, who's responsible, who's in control. So there are certainly,
bro, the thing about private thoughts, I don't think like this thing is nearly, not even close to advanced enough to read your mind like clearly. You know what I'm saying? Like we saw, like when I showed y'all the brain readings or whatever the fuck that they had. When do I see that? Y'all can go back in the video, but yeah. Oh, this is right here. This brain activity. This is what you. Oh, sugar. My fault, y'all. This is what you see.
And then there may be trade-offs.
This is what you see. You don't see, like, if I'm imagining a dog, you're not gonna see a fucking dog. You're gonna see like my brain like firing. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's all you're gonna be able to read. So I wouldn't worry about them reading our minds or even controlling us at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is a problem for your grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Or your great grandkids. Or your great grandkids, depending on how old you are.